Hello, everyone, and good evening. There's a place in Wales where they say that water remembers, where ghostly barges, eerie reflections, and whispers in the fog are seen. And that place is the Old Neath Canal. People report seeing themselves on the surface, but they're not alone. They see apparitions beside them, and sometimes they're not even looking back in the reflections. Welcome to Haunted Hours. This, and I am, as always, Paranormal Ripples, aka Ray. And we're diving into one of South Wales's most eeriest waterways. This is episode 42, the Old Neath Canal reflections that shouldn't be there. As always, do what this banner says, so you don't miss anything that I put out in future. And let's get cracking on, shall we? So, before we talk the ghosts of the Old Neath Canal, let's lay the foundations of what the canal was used for, shall we? So it was built in the 1700s, the Old Neath Canal, connecting the Port of Neath to the industrial hinterlands, so such as Abernant and Gleneath. At its peak, it transported coal, limestone, iron, and also people were working along the bank, as you would expect. Accidents were common along this route. There was flooding, cave-ins, drownings. At least 7 documented worker deaths have been reported on the Old Neath Canal between 1795 and 1850. But how many were unrecorded? How many didn't get a burial or whatever? A forgotten stretch of water that with a memory longer than, say, a ledger. So now let's talk about an eyewitness report along the canal. Locals have long shared stories on the Old Neath Canal and a ghostly barge that visits. It's been seen gliding along a dry section of the canal near Tona. Sorry for my Welsh pronunciation, lads and lasses. Basically, there's no engine, no oar, no visible crew, yet it eerily goes across the water. A jogger back in 2016 or 2016 claimed that the boat faded in the mist right in front of him. And he described this feeling of intense sorrow coming all over him, as if someone had been left behind on board. He couldn't explain anything else. But there's been nothing concrete. I've looked for news stories about anything. Nope, nothing. But there was a Reddit thread I found from around the same time, and 3 other people that reported identical sightings along the canal, the same section in the same week, and the same barge. Is it a coincidence, or is something still navigating them tricky waters along the canal? Still looking to get to its destination. But this is where things get even more eerie, everyone. The most disturbing story of this stretch of water involves a child. Multiple reports over years, stretching as far back as the 1980s to today, which was just a few years ago. So today, technically, speak of a small figure standing on the water near Resolven. So near Resolven, a young girl who's no older than 10, pale, unmoving, is seen standing on the water. Witnesses say she doesn't wave, doesn't speak. She just stares like a. Could you imagine seeing that girl just staring at you? What would your first feelings be? Some have described the feeling a sense of overwhelming guilt. upon seeing her, like something had happened to her and they were guilty. One woman claimed that she turned around to get her husband's attention, and when she looked back, this spirit was gone, but a reflection was still looking at them in the water. Eerie, innit? That detail has appeared in 2 other accounts of the girl not vanishing, but the reflection still in the water. And there's been happening in different years, different people, but the same chilling anomaly of that. Could you imagine just looking at the water, seeing the reflection there still in the water, and then not seeing the spirit in front of you? What would you do, everyone? What would you do? Let me know what you would do in the comments, everyone. Now, let's slow things down and check facts, shall we? Because we know things like can get blurry and legends happen and tales and things can get spun around in a yarn and it gets lost. But none of these events have appeared in official police records. There's been no deaths of children linked to that area in recent decades. Well, none that have been publicly accessible. And as for the barge, there are plausible, like, explanations, so to speak. The mist could be playing tricks on the light and causing you to think that there's something there. Sleep deprivation, optical illusions. But these stories could be growing out of shared local folklore. Basically, people could be explaining to you, like it could be just you playing tricks and But the consistency, specifically in these reports, make them too hard to dismiss. Basically, remember, haunting isn't always about proof you get; it's about persistence and stories that won't ever go quiet. So remember that, folks. And this is what truly caught my attention about this case. Several witnesses have claimed to see reflections of people who weren't there, like I said, with like the little girl. Not just their own, but others standing next to them or watching them from behind. Visible only in the water. A paranormal group in Port Talbot, right, a local group, have said on a Reddit forum that he described using an infrared camera on the canal, and what they captured that on that camera is what they believe to be a second shadow beside them, visible only in the reflection, but not in the air around them. Obviously they ain't shown the footage on the Reddit post, but everyone wants them to like release it, but they sounded shaken when they were explaining the detail. And because they're seasoned ghost hunters, and been doing it for over like 20, 30 years, I think they said, they don't easily get spooked. So what has spooked them enough to do that, everyone? Let me know. So what could it be? Could it be residual hauntings, like the energy's trapped over time, and because the water's a constant flowing like body, it's kind of playing on the like water and it's building the residual energy up? Or could they be seeing time slips? Most famous in Bold Street in Liverpool. If you don't know what time slips are, look them up. But basically, are they seeing a window into the past, into a past window, like say that take Bold Street for example. If you ever heard about it, people see they look in today's age, but then when they next turn around, they're in like the 60s. Could they be seeing the industrial times through a past window? Or something else tied to folklore, like a fagdadu, or whatever. Sorry for my pronunciation, Welsh people. The art of darkness. So it's a spirit said to emerge near deep forgotten water. But some people believe that this canal acts like a mirror, basically to a thinner layer of reality, like a veil. It's not broken, but like smudged, and that they're letting that the past is echoing in to today's thing. So let me. So basically, let me know what you think, everyone, about the content. Basically, not the content, but basically what I've talked about. So if you don't know what I've been saying, we've got a barge that has been seen by multiple people on the water in the Neath Canal near Toner, and then near Resolven, the stretch near Resolven, we have a girl, like a little girl, getting seen, and a reflection getting seen in the water. But as soon as she vanishes, the reflection in the water is still there. So let me know what you think could be contributed to all this. Do you think it could be the water giving a deep, or like energy around the water, giving it more energy to manifest? Or do you think it could be a time slip? Or do you think anything, what do you think is going on around that areas? Also, I would say though, if you ever walk round or down the Neath Canal after dark, watch the water closely, but don't stare too long because something might just look at you back, and it might not be what it seems. So thanks for joining me as I talked about all this. Let me know if you had any experiences at Neath Canal, or have you ever seen a ghostly reflection or in a body of water somewhere? Turn the notification bell on, like this episode, subscribe if you haven't already, and pass this episode on by sharing it to people that you think would be interested in all this. Until next time, though, stay cautious, stay curious, and never forget, everyone, some echoes don't fade. Take care, everyone.